Hi, and welcome to Bent TV. I'm Matthew Wade, and I'm the editor of the Star Observer.
And I'm Renee Wade, and I work within the disability sector.
And today we're here to chat about, growing up with an LGBTIQ sibling. I mean, we're both twins and we're both queer. Previously, we talked a little bit about what it was like discovering our sexualities. And now I thought it'd be interesting to talk a bit more about the coming out process and what that was like. You know, I mean, we obviously were growing up in the same household, but we had very different experiences. Do you remember when it was, in high school or as a teenager that you thought, okay, I want to tell our family that I'm bisexual or queer?
I don't remember this.
Okay.
But apparently one time I was driving to work with our sister Steph in the car.
Yep.
And apparently whilst we're in the car, she asked me if, I was interested in anyone or if I'd kissed anyone or anything like that. And apparently I told her that I'd kissed a girl. I probably blacked this out of my memory, which is why I don't remember.
So it wasn't like a planned thing. It kind of, it's
No.
almost like, maybe it was bubbling inside and then that just provided an opportunity. You're like, I'm just going to take it.
I think so, yeah. And then in terms of coming out to, mum and dad, at the time, because I was starting to see someone, I thought I should be open and honest with them.
So this was close by, after you told Steph, our
Yeah.
older sister, you then thought, I'm going to tell our parents. So what was
Yeah.
that like? Because again, I wasn't there for that. Actually, I didn't. Obviously, I wasn't there at the time. So what was it like?
I was, I think, red in the face and stumbling through my words. I sat down with both of them and it was all very serious and quiet, and they were looking at me like, oh my gosh, what is she going to say?
Yeah.
And then when I told them that I was, seeing someone and that it was a girl, both of them took, I guess, a bit of a pause to let it sink in. And then obviously both of them were quite supportive and, said they still loved me. Thankfully, I had a pretty positive experience coming out.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, I don't think you told me that you'd done that. I'm pretty sure my mum or dad had told me that you'd come out to them, but they just kind of said it as like an everyday thing. Like, oh yeah, Renee told us this, and that was how I knew.
Yeah.
For me, I mean, it was actually not that dissimilar. Like they, again, were saying like they wanted to support me, but I just assumed telling them that they would just, like yourself, know that already know that I was gay. So I assumed that wouldn't be a surprise. But I remember when I told them, they thought that I was joking. And I remember Dad saying this specifically. He actually sincerely didn't realize that I was beforehand. And he said, oh, I just thought that you listened to the Pussycat Dolls and stuff like that because you like to watch them because they as women. And it's just funny because I guess even though I still was incredibly nervous, I had this little solace in my mind that I'm like, oh, well, they'd probably be cool with it because they're probably already known for however many years, but they didn't, or they didn't say that they did at the time. But that was quite a long time after you. Do you remember how old you were when you said it to them?
I think I was 16 when I told them.
So I was 18, so it was actually years afterwards. So even though I knew that you had done it, I still kind of felt, I don't know what it was. There was just something, I think part of it was actually because I know you'd done it already, and not that they were not accepting about it, of course. But I thought, I'm almost being the second person to do it. It was like, I'm putting that extra thing onto them. Even though there's nothing wrong with it, of course, but at the time when you're an adolescent, you're thinking, if I tell them as well, they're going to be like, oh, both of our twins are, gay, and what does that mean? So that played in my mind a little bit, I guess, because you said it first, it may not have whatever, but it's interesting how that played out.
I think it was probably easier for myself because I was at the time seeing someone, and I think they'd obviously realised, I was spending a lot of time with them and that kind of thing. So maybe in the back of their minds they potentially had some idea, whereas for you it was just kind of out of the blue, I suppose. Yeah, that's
true. I did not have any action or any interest in high school whatsoever. Again, because we went to a very conservative high school. I guess there were actually, I mean, as far as I'm aware, there were quite a few even if they weren't open about it, queer women, but I just don't feel like there were very many openly gay guys. But yeah, anyway, once you had come out, I guess, again, you mentioned that you already had an idea that I was gay without me having to say it. So over those couple of years before I actually said it to anyone, did you think about that a lot? Again, I know, I had a rough time at high school, so you kind of witnessed the brunt of it in a way, but having already come out to our parents, I mean, how did you feel knowing also in the back of your mind that I probably was also same-sex attracted?
I think there's a few times that I'd say a couple little things here or there or drop a few hints and I guess gave you that opportunity to say something, but you didn't. And that was, you obviously weren't comfortable saying anything at the time, so I kind of left it at that, but yeah.
I feel like, and I might be getting this wrong, so you can tell me if your recollection is different, but I feel like the time I actually told you may have been, we were just literally sitting at the lounge room watching something on TV. I have this memory, maybe it was Steph, our older sister. I actually thought it was you, though, that I was sitting there on the couch and I just kind of, it came out for some reason. Like, we're watching something on television, I just kind of said it. And that's my memory. But maybe I've like repressed it and something else happened. But do you remember?
No, I actually don't remember the exact time that you told me.
It was different because with mum and dad, I guess I wanted it to be like a declaration. It was like more of a thing. Whereas with you, I just wanted to just kind of say it and then just like, let's move on. Like, I still wasn't comfortable. Yeah.
Yeah.
But then I guess after you realized that officially I was, did that change the way you felt knowing that you were also out in a way about your sexuality and that I was too?
I think back then I was still like partially comfortable, I suppose, because our friends were quite supportive and that type of thing. But I guess having that extra person, especially so close to home, was definitely an extra, I guess, boost in my, morale, I suppose, in terms of like, okay, this is cool.
It's interesting because like, I guess we lived in a country-ish town. So for me, it was like, it was great to have someone that in the family that also kind of would relate to my experience. But looking ahead, because I'd often think about, the desire to just leave the town and go to somewhere like Melbourne. I always looked at it through like a really gay lens. So I'd always be like, oh, when I leave Geelong and I go somewhere else, I want to make sure that, I feel comfortable and accepted by the gay community. And so that didn't really play into it because I guess your experience would have been different as a queer woman. So I guess in terms of at home, it felt good. But when I was thinking ahead, it still felt like a solitary thing. Like I'd have to kind of go out and try to find my way and stuff. And it felt, because it was specifically within like the gay community, I felt that, that didn't really play into it that much. For you, I mean, did you ever have any qualms leaving high school and after you'd been out and once our family knew, your friends knew, going forward?
I think for me, I had, I guess, some reservations in terms of, right, so I'm out of high school, I'm out of that comfort zone and I'm moving into the next chapter and meeting all these new people. I went to uni and I guess having to have those conversations and those introductions again of, hi, I'm Renee and this is my partner who's, also a female. So I guess the anxiety that comes along with introducing yourself to new people, especially when you're not, like, I guess, fully comfortable with yourself.
You're not there yet, yeah. Well, that's all we have time for this section, but we'll be back shortly.